Oh, lads, I couldn't wait to start talking about this movie. This is just one of the greatest comedies of all time. And yeah, it's not in the IMDb top 250, okay? I know we're doing a lot of those reviews, but I just had to I had to include this, you know, and I even watched it again the other night just to talk about it, and hopefully it's a good recommendation. Or if you've seen it before, get it out, lads. And if you're drinking, keep drinking, get the beer, get the wine, get the popcorn. Because lads, this isn't just a movie, like this is a lifestyle. This is turning 30 but still acting like you're 21, distilled in 2 hours of just carnage. Total carnage, like, and it's delivered by some of the biggest comedy heavyweights of all time, no doubt about it. Vince Vaughn at his fast talking, Will Ferrell at his most unhinged. You've got Luke Wilson as the guy who has no idea how he got here, and then Jeremy Piven as the smug little a-hole you just love to hate. You know, if you've never seen it, let me just say it. Old School is a masterclass. It's what happens if men in their 30s ignore all adult responsibilities and start a college fraternity. I mean, what the hell? It's absurdish. It's absurd. It's childish. It's completely unrealistic, and that's exactly why it's perfect. This isn't just a movie to watch. It's a goddamn movie to live by. Now, the premise is simple and brilliant. Three guys, all going through different levels of midlife crisis, okay, decide to relive their college glory days by starting the fraternity. And despite the fact they're way too old to be doing this stuff, right? College parties, like. The conflict, it's layered. On the surface, it's them versus the university administration, and led by Dean Gordon Pritchard, Jeremy Piven in peak smarmy little man with power mode. Underneath is about adulthood versus nostalgia, responsibility versus recklessness, and in true comedy form, it's also man versus his own ability to grow up. And Vince Vaughn's character, he's trying to run a business, raise a family, still throw ragers with college kids. Will Ferrell's Frank the Tank, oh, don't even get me started on Frank the Tank, man. You know, Ricard, he can't be trusted around alcohol without ending in streaking down the main street. And that's an awesome scene, by the way. And Luke Wilson's Mitch, well, he's just trying to figure out how he went from breakups and bad luck to being the center of the frat house madness. I mean, it's chaos. It's glorious. Now, directed by Todd Phillips, yes, the same Todd Phillips who went out to direct The Hangover and The Joker. Two weird movies to be comparing against, but Old School came out in 2003, lads, and it basically redefined what the early 2000s comedy would be. It really did. I think it was the benchmark. It was the turning point for how comedies were going to go, right? I mean, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And here's a fun bit of trivia for you. The movie was originally rated NC-17 for language and nudity until they cut it down to an R, which makes you wonder what was left on the cutting room floor. And Will Ferrell was already a big name from Saturday Night Live. All right, we all know him. Genius comedian. But this movie, I think it cemented him as the go-to guy for unfiltered unpredictability comedy, you know. And Vince Vaughn, oh, well, he's my favorite comedian of all these guys. Brought that quick sarcastic delivery, you know, he's famous for. And like Luke Wilson, okay, he's not as, I suppose, popular as the rest, but, you know, played the straight man, I can barely talk, played the straight man perfectly, you know, grounding the movie, I think, and he was the kind of the rock, which I think it was good for the chaos around it, grounding the movie just enough so, like, it didn't float off into complete lunacy. And Jeremy Piven, oh, I mean, you gotta admit, he is one major a-hole in this movie, but this might be probably one of the most perfectly hateable roles. You know, you don't just dislike the guy, you enjoy disliking the guy. And then you've got, you know, the supporting cast. Sean William Scott, Stifler, he shows up for a brilliant cameo. Absolutely brilliant. And then a pre-Hangover Todd Phillips cameo. Did you spot him in this movie? Well, okay. And enough random chaos to fill a dozen frat houses, lads. Now, in the movie, once the frat is formed, all right, it's just one ridiculous challenge after another. They've got to get recruits. They have to survive insane parties. They have to pass physicals, academic and mental challenges to stay recognized as the fraternity. Now, and of course, they have to do it all the while Dean is actually trying to shut them down. Now, this is where the comedy kind of hits full throttle, really, right? Vince Vaughn on a blowout torch microphone hyping the crowd. You got Will Ferrell yelling, "We're going streaking." Classic. Like it's a presidential campaign slogan, right? Luke Wilson getting dragged along for every bad idea. And I'm trying not to show too much footage, lads, you know? It's not that there's any cliffhangers or things to give away, but I don't know, I still don't want to give away too much, you know? I just keep it for yourselves. And every obstacle becomes a set piece. There's the gymnastics challenge, the debate challenge, the hilarious trust exercise, and of course, the epic party montages that make you want to call your friends and say, "Lads, we're getting some booze tonight, lads. Let's do this." And the thing is, like, you don't just laugh. You wish you were there. Like, you genuinely do. I mean, it's so outrageous. Like, you can't help but to think, God, I'd love to join that frat. And then you got the big showdown. And the frat's fate hanging in the balance, right? They're just on tender hooks here, guys. And the dean thinks he's finally got them. And there's no way the guys can pass. I mean, you are set up for doom in this, right? And they somehow do in the most ridiculous and unexpected ways possible. You know, you've got Vince Vaughn nailing a perfect gymnastics vault. You've got Will Ferrell lighting himself on fire. That's an awesome scene, by the way. During a stunt, but still making it count. You've got every misfit member stepping up when it matters. And it's pure underdog energy. And mixed with the kind of comedy timing that makes every payoff land twice as hard. And it's not just about beating the dean. It's about proving that maybe, just maybe, refusing to grow up, it's not always a bad thing. Now, when the dust settles, the frat lives on. The guys, they keep their chaotic, semi-functioning version of the dream alive. And, you know, as the audience, we're kind of left with that, right? That life doesn't have to be so serious. Sure, you need to pay your bills and take care of stuff like that, yeah. But there's no rule that says you have to give up fun, friendship, and doing the occasionally stupid thing that just because you're older. And that's why old school still works today. It really does. It's not just a time capsule of early 2000 comedy. It's a reminder that a little bit of college energy can keep us all young, no matter what your birth certificate says. You know, if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. If you've seen it before, watch it again. And the next time you hear somebody say Frank the Tank, just know, man, it could go down in a horrendous but great way.